Hi, my dear friends. Today's video is about myself, a CEO. So, what's the role of a CEO and what are the main functions in the role of a CEO? Everyone knows that I've been a managing director slash CEO since I was 31 years old. And of course, in various forums, I've already mentioned that you don't need to have a title of a CEO to be like a CEO. So, today's video will be very interesting for everyone who not only aspire to be a CEO in the title sense, but even in your current job, how can you behave and treat it like as if you're the CEO of your own little team or own little job. So please watch till the end because I'm now sharing my own life of what I do as a CEO. Now, I'm not sure if this is what every CEO does, but this is what I do. And as you know, for the last 15 years, it has given me a lot of success that I've been climbing the ladder from smaller operation to medium size to a bigger operation like India right now. So let's get started on this. Please do press on the subscribe button before you continue watching the video as well. So what's the role of a CEO? The CEO is nothing but like a father of the company, right? Like a head of the family. So जैसे घर पे पापा होते हैं जो सबकी देखभाल करते हैं. It's a bit like that, you know. My role, for example, is to make sure that I'm protecting the organization, protecting the employees. That's the overarching thing. And the buck stops with me. Look, so I am Mr. Schindler for India. Whatever happens for the company, I'm responsible in India. So it's a huge shouldering of responsibility of managing this company which has huge amount of employees and turnover. That's the role of any CEO. So right from the problem that can happen when there is a complaint that comes from a customer to the credit you get when you achieve a lot of success. End-to-end accountability of the business. That's the role of a CEO. A lot of people ask me, when I walk on the road or when I'm talking to people, do I feel like a CEO and all that? Honestly, I don't. I just feel like a normal human being. Only when people message me, like many of you write to me, I'm so amazed that you're a CEO and you speak to us and all that. That's when even I realize about the title, but honestly, it never gets to my head because it's a title, right? I mean, I can lose the title tomorrow. But the connection I'm making with all of you, that's what I really love about my job. Of course, that's the other side of me. But let's today talk about what are the key functions of a CEO's office or a CEO itself. So, the first and most important thing is to define the purpose of the organization. You must be wondering what is purpose. Simon Sinek has written a famous book about the power of why. I want all of you to read that book as well because it will give you a very good understanding of why organizations have to define a purpose and why they should have a why for the organization. So, my first job or the CEO's first task is to inspire everyone towards a common goal, towards having a purpose. Like, we have companies saying that we want to change people's life by providing innovative products and services, something like Apple. For Schindler, our purpose is to elevate people. Whether you are an employee, you're a customer, you're a supplier, we want to elevate people's life. More than billion people, 1.5 billion people use our products and services. So how do we make sure that there is safety and quality in everything we do? That's our purpose. So the first role is to define a purpose where everybody aligns to it, where everybody feels connected to it. This purpose should be so inspiring and simple that everybody should feel like I want to go to work tomorrow. That's the first thing. It's very difficult, right? To have a common purpose where everybody feels that they should be part of this success story organization. Number two will be setting the strategy and objective of the organization. Now you have set up the purpose. Okay, this is what I want to do for the world or for the company, for the employees. Now, what should we do after this is to set a long-term strategy. Most CEOs, I shouldn't say all, बहुत सारे CEOs है जो 10 साल 5 साल का strategy बनाते हैं. Like for example, I always work on a 3 or a 5 year strategy. So 5 years later, how should the company look like? You should make the whole organization visualize this. I do this by a bottom-up approach. By the way, I have made a video about how to make a strategy as well. Please click on the link that you can see, or you can go to my YouTube channel and it's one of the earliest videos I made on how to develop a strategy. So a CEO's job is to develop the strategy for the whole company, and that is done as a bottom-up approach. Now, what does the strategy do? The strategy gives a direction for the employees and the organization. So if you're an employee in my company, you will know कि 5 years later Schindler क्या करने वाला, कैसे दिखेगा, क्या क्या करने वाला है वहां पे पहुंचने के लिए, वो मंजिल पहुंचने के लिए. So for example, we can say we will double the company, we will become a 10,000 crore company, we will become a $1 billion company, we will be the most innovative company. All these can be the strategy how it will be like after 5 years later. Once you define the strategy, you need to define the roadmap, the blueprint or the path, like what all you got to do to hit that strategic objective. This is what the second thing the CEO has to do. So once you have the purpose, then you have the strategy, then you need to make sure that you have the right team in place. So the CEO has to make sure, do I have the team that will help this organization hit its strategy? Then they have to see. I'm talking about the immediate management team. You always start turning around or improving an organization from top. You will not be able to do it from bottom. It will take too much long, and if you don't have good leaders, your bottom will suffer. So immediate thing is to make sure that your immediate team, if you're a CEO, you have a management team, but if you're a department head, you will still have an immediate team, right? Like if you're a sales manager, you will have sales people. That is your team. Now, if you have a purpose for your sales team, if you have the strategy for your sales team, then make sure you have the right people in the sales team. There you need to make sure that you keep the best people on the bus, and those who are not performing well, it's important that you get them off the bus. It's important for them as well. If somebody is not doing well, the more longer you keep, the more older they become, they will struggle to even find another job. So you have to help people, work with them, coach them, train them, mentor them. If they're not improving, let them leave the company and find something else that they will be happy with. Otherwise, you will be constantly upset with them, and it's not something that I would encourage. So getting the right people on the bus and writing the wrong people off the bus is very important role of the CEO. Now, once you've got the right team and right people on the bus, it's important that you support them in terms of how to execute the strategy. Here is where a CEO has to put regular objective monitoring mechanisms of various metrics to hit the strategy. Now, your long term is to double the business, but then you should have that 5-year strategy broken down into 1-year strategy, and then 1-year strategy broken down by monthly plans, monthly targets. So a CEO's job is to monitor those targets against actual. What is really happening and what is really should happen. So that is the next part. Once your objectives are getting monitored, the other biggest role of a CEO is to always have interaction with the people at all levels. Right from the frontline salesperson or a blue collar worker to the top management, you must be regularly interacting with them in a group format or a one-on-one format, because your important role is to drive the culture of the company. If you want your strategy to be achieved, it needs a certain culture. And how do you know what is the culture? By talking to people. I will talk about organizational culture in another video, but it's basically organizational culture is nothing but what are the unsaid rules people follow when nobody is watching. If you want to drive an innovative company, you need to have an innovation culture. So a CEO will be driving these kind of discussions with the people, seeing whether there's innovation being driven, for example. So that is how you drive a culture. And then of course the last part of a CEO's role is to keep the brand of the company at a very high level. So regularly interacting with media, regularly interacting with stakeholders, customers, suppliers, consumers, and making sure that the right things are being spoken about by the company, by everyone. Monitoring customer satisfaction results. So these are some critical points that a CEO does, and this is what I follow. As I said, it's always given me success. This is part 1 of the video. In the next video, I will go through in a bit more detail how do I plan my weeks and days and month to be a successful CEO. So thanks for watching this video. If you want to continue watching the next video, please don't forget to subscribe on the channel, and I will meet you on the part 2 of the video as well soon. Till I see you in the next video, stay fit, stay positive, and keep chasing obscene success. Thank you to my dear friends.